Hey there, welcome to episode 21 of PigCake Plus News. Episode 21. 21, of course, being the legal drinking age here in the United States. I know in some parts of the world, it seems like the legal drinking age is 12. I know in some parts of the world, the age of consent is 12, so I imagine their drinking age is non-existent. But here we are in episode 21. Oh boy, I'm so excited. I'm testing out different applications, by the way. If anybody has any suggestions as to how I could possibly upload an audio of this, so you don't have to be attached to YouTube for these long form videos. I know because I was just watching a video and I was really listening to the audio, and it's a pain in my ass to have the phone turned on in my pocket listening to whatever it is that I was listening to. It was actually a little bit of a video on DashCon being a unofficial Tumblr convention made by a bunch of fat people that didn't know how to make a convention, so they wasted a bunch of people's money, time, effort. But anyways, let's get into the news here, because our first story is about Hurricane Michael, potentially catastrophic. It makes landfall in Florida's panhandle as a Category 4 storm. So as early as this afternoon, the intense Category 4 hurricane was packing top sustained winds of 155 miles per hour when it crashed ashore in the early afternoon near Mexico Beach. Now, it seems to me the argument is usually, would you rather have a tornado or would you rather have a hurricane? And you have both sides arguing, see, a hurricane, you see it coming, so you're better prepared. A tornado, you're not prepared. It just comes at you and it destroys everything that's in its wake. I think seeing it come and knowing that it's there in the ocean, just gathering strength, just harnessing all this anger like it's Goku trying to harness power for a spirit bomb. I think that's even worse because you see it coming, and then everywhere around you, all the grocery stores get packed and they get emptied. And the only thing, as I mentioned in a previous episode, that exists and that's left behind is all the vegan shit, all the tofu, all the fake cheese, all the fake chicken. That's the only thing that's left behind. So sometimes you have to suck it up and not eat, because I'm not about to eat that vegan garbage. But a hurricane's rough, man. The last one left us with power for about a week and a half. And of course, all the memes that you see, all the electric companies going around, seemingly around your area. So I saw pretty much every other area get power before we did. But that day, that was a happy day. There's a picture of me reading Magic for Dummies, actually, outside, drinking a hot Diet Coke, because outside was actually cooler than inside. Inside was like a sauna. However, it did teach me to take cold showers, which is a good habit to have. Think about it. You're inclined to be in the shower for less time. That's number one. You're saving electricity because nothing's heating up the water. That's number two. And you're also saving water because you're not going to be in there for long. So I do highly recommend taking cold showers. That's a habit I've got from necessity in that fucking hurricane. But anyways, here we have the article that says nearly 30 million people in the southeast were in its crosshairs. The one that hit us, I think, was a Category 5, and it looked like an angry buzzsaw in the ocean. It was disgustingly big. Now, this one is currently hitting, so we really don't have anything else to report apart from hoping that it doesn't hit as hard. I know those areas aren't usually prepared for a hurricane because we're kind of the first defense. We're the shield. So if it hits us, usually by the time it gets to the panhandle and that part of the United States is already weakened. No, this time they got the full Mandingo dick. Here's a story out of Poland of all places, where the oldest person in the entire country was found, and it actually holds a grisly secret. Believe it or not, the bones, the human bones, were actually found among animal bones. So apparently they discovered that this human was in fact eaten by what seems to be a giant bird. Jesus fucking Christ. We complain about the most mundane, stupid shit. Oh, my Starbucks took too long to get to me. Yeah, maybe because there's one person working and there's 12 people in line. Maybe that's one of the reasons. Oh, this is too hot. I stubbed my toe. See, 115,000 years ago, there were people getting eaten up by giant fucking birds. Are you serious? How could you read a story like this and still complain about the mundane shit you have to go through? Oh, the Wi-Fi's slow. Oh, I can't look up my pictures online on Instagram because T-Mobile sucks. In the great words of Louis C.K., you make a T-Mobile. I think it was You Make a Verizon. You make a Verizon. Huh? You get some hubcaps and make a satellite in your backyard. What a great bit. So apparently the researchers believe that the bird either attacked and partially consumed the child or fed off of the child after it died. Either way, it's a terrifying prospect. You know, as a kid, I always wondered, hey, what would it be like if Pokemon were around? And now as a full-fledged adult with a giant baby penis, I realize it's a terrifying prospect. Could you imagine a fucking Pidgey? One of the cutest Pokemon, just a tiny little bird, or a Rattata, however you say it. It's just this cute sort of rat. It's fucking terrifying. It's a rat the size of like a post box, and they're running amok, running openly in the fields. You can't get from one city to another city without having at least a dozen in your way. And then you have a bunch of Pidgeys just gusting you. Going anywhere would be a nightmare. But apparently it was reality. It was fucking reality about 100,000 years ago. So if anything, we should just learn from this particular story to stop being such pussies, man. We should appreciate what we have. We should be glad that we're living in the best time period. We have all these things. We have all these amenities. And instead, we complain about the most mundane shit. And me too. I need to realize all the shit that I complain about on a daily basis and think, oh, you know what? At least today, I could safely say that I'm not going to get eaten by a giant fucking bird. So Kylie Jenner's in the news because apparently she's back on the lip filler grind. Fucking kill me. See, let me give you a little bit of behind the scenes here on PigCake Plus News. I go through Google News and I sort through and I sift through all the shit, and hopefully I cull all the things that I think would be interesting to present to you guys. And shit like this is always permeating the feed. So I just spend endless time scrolling through and trying to find something interesting. And it's all of these stories about people like Kylie Jenner, who's irrelevant. And this is a story by Cosmopolitan. Same sort of news outlet that in one article talks about how we shouldn't objectify, and objectifying is rape. And then in another article talks about the top 7 bulges in the Olympic swimming team. So here apparently they call the lip filler grind that she's back on. It's not a fucking grind. It's a disgusting habit. I think I ranted yesterday on high-waisted shorts. And I think Kylie Jenner is the one to blame for that dumb fucking habit getting popular. But here she's filling up her lips with God knows what to look like some sort of retarded duck. I also don't understand this habit that some females have fallen under. I like thick lips, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of the DSLs, as they call them, but natural DSLs, not these phony ones that are just, the upper lip looks like a trapezoid. The lower lip looks like it's trying to overcompensate, so usually they fill that one up more, and it looks disgusting, and it's very noticeable. So here Kylie went on to talk about her insecurities from her lips. I have really small lips, and it was like one of my first kisses with a guy, and he said, I didn't think you would be such a good kisser because you have such small lips. I took that really hard. Just when a guy you like says that, I don't know, it just affected me. What an amazing problem to have. What a fucking amazing problem to have. When 100,000 years ago, there's potential that you would have been bird food. I didn't feel desirable or pretty. I just wanted bigger lips. I would overline my lips with lip liner just to create the illusion of bigger lips. And finally, I was like, this lip liner isn't doing it. I ended up getting my lips done. What a great pioneer Kylie Jenner is. What a wonderful example she's setting for the young girls. But anyways, I think Google really needs to fix their news algorithm or whatever they use to pick out the best news stories that are apparently, for me, it says catered to me here. I don't remember last time I looked up lip liners or Kylie Jenner. About 90% of the news is regarding Trump and what he said this week. I feel like if it was catered to me, it'd be a bunch of news on old bands from the 80s. Maybe some magic related shit. I mean, certainly a lot better than what I get now. Well, San Francisco is apparently being called the doo-doo capital of the United States. The new nickname comes courtesy of apartment search service RentHop, which says the city has the highest amount of complaints about fecal matter on the sidewalks. Data compiled by the website shows 500 poop sightings reported per square mile in 2017. Here it says, living in a shitty neighborhood has a new meaning for San Franciscans. That's an awful term. I don't know how I would deal with that. I really don't know how I would deal with that. I've only seen feces on the street a couple times that looked like it was human poop. One was actually just laid out by a dog that was about the same size as a human, and it laid out this football-sized turd on a street that the person didn't even bother picking up. But I honestly see why. It looked like leftover bricks. But apparently here they have a San Francisco doo-doo map talking about the worst neighborhoods for waste complaints from humans and animals. And it seems to be Golden Gate Park, south of the market, and the Tenderloin. That's fucking nasty. I assume this is linked to homelessness. I can't imagine it's regular people just pulling down their pants and making a brown on the street. So apparently earlier this year, the city launched a new pilot program called the Poop Patrol, which is set to scour targeted neighborhoods looking for human waste. The Department of Public Works director says that the city will spend $750,000 to clean up and search for human waste. Honestly, I think that San Francisco deserves this. All the stereotypes of people from San Francisco, everything just leads me to think that anywhere in California, honestly, deserves this. We get shit here. Not literally, by the way, but we get shit here for being the Florida man meme, which is, by the way, 90% of the time in northern Florida. But we get a lot of garbage here in Florida. So what if somebody from Florida City is caught trying to fuck a raccoon? So what if we had a man douse himself with lemon juice and thought that he was invisible, so he went in to try to rob a bank? So what? That's interesting. At least our streets aren't littered with literal shit. So apparently some people are saying that this is because they enable open drug use. So instead of trying to fix the problem, they hire Poop Patrol. But this is just looking through the comments here. What an awful issue. I don't know how you would even go about trying to solve this, apart from trying to help the economy so that homelessness isn't that much of an issue. But goddamn, there's a street down here in downtown where at any given time there's about 100 homeless people just walking around, and it really makes you appreciate what you have. But even there, I've still only seen shit on the street very rarely. So San Francisco, man, get your shit straight. So a confused truck driver was cited after driving on a bike path in Ohio. He apparently learned the hard way that his big rig was too big to fit under bridges designed for bicycles. So apparently his truck got stuck under one of the bridges in Columbus after hitting others, police said, showing photos of the damaged vehicle. And you see the picture here. Obviously you can't see it, but it's of a big rig underneath a bridge that looks about as tall as two people standing on top of each other. Anytime I see these truck fails, it seems to be a lot permeating YouTube. Whenever you look, it seems like there's a truck that thinks, no, I can make it, I could clear it. And then they try to go under a bridge and it turns out, no. I thought you would know how tall your shit is. And each and every single bridge has a sign that says how tall it is. So you would know, if my fucking truck says it's 10 feet tall and I know the dimensions of it, and that sign says, oh, this is 9 feet tall, maybe I shouldn't try to go under that. But apparently the driver was just cited for reckless operation and traffic control device. I don't understand what happens in the aftermath of this, because there's obviously a huge mess to clean up. They have to move the truck, they have to bring in workers. So who pays for this shit? I have to imagine it's somehow the insurance, and I have to imagine that this comes out of me somehow. I'm always wary and thinking anytime some shit goes down, I'm like, great, this is gonna end up costing the good old citizens so much in those much needed tax dollars that we spend every year. But here, there's a very interesting story, and apparently the police spokeswoman did not immediately return the request for comment, so we're just gonna have to sit this one out. Random fact of the day. Which is the largest state in the United States by area? And it turns out that it is Alaska. Despite being the second largest state, Texas is only 40% of the total area of the largest state, Alaska. Montana is larger than every state it borders. Only Alaska and Wyoming have a lower population density, according to Google here, which is from Wikipedia, so maybe that wouldn't be too trustworthy. Alaska's a fun one. I still don't understand how that's a state within the United States. I think we should just give it to Canada at this point. You technically have to go through Canada to get it, so give the Canucks a win for once. They've taken so many L's in the years, so we should just give them Alaska. But we keep Celine Dion. We keep her. She never goes back to Canada. She's too much. She's too precious to give back to those fucking toonies, those toonie using Tim Horton fucks. Speaking of Canada, apparently, don't microwave urine samples. Florida convenience store owner warns customers. What a good segue there. So apparently, a Florida gas station has placed her sign in her store asking customers not to warm their urine samples in the microwave, specifying the oven is only for warming food. So apparently this is a common practice that you want your urine to be as warm as possible right before you do a drug test, assuming that you got clean urine from somebody else. And the logic here in Jacksonville, which remember is northern Florida, which is southern Georgia, not part of Florida in my books, it seems like people are going in and microwaving containers of urine. I have to imagine that they're near a drug test lab, and they are. Patel store is within walking distance of 2 labs, though one says it doesn't collect samples for drug tests. That's fucking disgusting. Now, let me tell you, the drug testing procedure at these labs is very liberal. I've done a couple of them, and it's very, very easy to completely deceive them without much effort at all. So I don't understand these people getting caught. Now, of course, I had clean piss, as I always do, being a straight edge individual with not even any ounce of alcohol in my urine, as if it would come up in the urine test. So I had no fear. However, I saw their process, and I'm like, this is irrelevant. I should have done a bunch of drugs. I walk into the room, I see a bunch of people shuffling around, and I didn't realize till many days afterward why people were so nervous in the room, because most of them were trying to cheat the test. So it's funny seeing them and remembering a bunch of people fidgeting in their seats. But the lady tells me to go inside the room. She hands me a little cup, and no searching, nothing whatsoever. I go into the room. I'm given as much time as I want to go in there and pee. And she says, do me a favor and pee in the toilet. And I go, okay, that's fucking weird. But I go and I urinate in the toilet. I urinate in a cup. Careful not to urinate anywhere around the vicinity of the cup. I think that would be embarrassing. I don't remember there being a sink in the room. So if there was urine on my hand, it would be very obvious that it wasn't just residue after washing my hands. So I had to be very, very careful. And I close it up and I gave it right to her, which is kind of an awkward thing. You know, you come out of a bathroom. It's almost like stupid shit you would do in kindergarten. You go to your mom's room and you have like a cup full of piss and you're like, Mom, I put urine in a cup, as if it's some sort of exciting achievement. And she goes, you're fucking retarded. Why did I even adopt you, you fucking stupid idiot, or whatever. But you're doing the same thing here. You're coming out of a room, and as an adult, you're trained to urinate either on a tree or in a receptacle that's designed for urine. So in this case, a toilet or a urinal. So to come out and to have piss in a cup and to present it to someone is very off-putting. But anyways, I give her the cup, and then she looks at the toilet and she flushes it, which I wondered why the fuck would she have me do that in the first place. But it's an odd thing, man. It's definitely an odd thing. And even when she was getting the results, I was still kind of nervous. You know, I was a little bit nervous there, even though there wasn't anything in my blood whatsoever. I have done the piss test for somebody else, by the way. I have urinated in, I believe it was a condom for someone a while ago. That was a fun situation because you have to do it then and there. So it's the day of the test, and they come rushing into your house and you're like, I need for you to piss in this condom. I'm like, okay, all right, normal Tuesday afternoon here. So I piss in the condom, this time purposely trying to get as much in the vicinity, and they tied up and they used it, and that worked out well for them. So that was a very interesting predicament. I didn't realize there was a whole market in fake piss, by the way. I didn't realize that people actually went out of their way to go to these shops and buy synthetic piss. I would never trust that shit. Piss made in a lab. Just have a friend pee for you. God, I just want to know who's the legend, the massive fucking legend who thought, I'm gonna microwave this urine. I'm gonna get away with it too. So a U.S. Postal Service worker abandoned bins of mail on the side of the road in South New Jersey before quitting, authorities say, and an image of the dumped deliveries has gone viral. So apparently there's a picture here of a bunch of mail just on the street. What a fucking asshole, man. You know, there's so many times when I've ordered something and I've paid money for it and it just never arrives. And I have to go through the process of saying, yeah, my package never arrived. But sir, you know, you have to somehow prove that your package never arrived. That's okay. Well, I mean, I saw on my phone that it said delivered. And then when I went outside, it was not delivered. Great, sir. That's very good. So we're going to send you a refund. Why even fucking ask me? But here, you see the reason why. People don't give a shit. So this guy was apparently disgruntled and decided to say, fuck you to his employer by delivering the mail, but this time to the side of the road. And apparently we do not anticipate any further action against this individual. However, the post office is still going to deliver the mail. Well, that's amazing. If you work for the United States Postal Service, you could technically get angry. And if you decide to quit, you could just fucking dump the mail somewhere. I thought that would have been some sort of felony or misdemeanor. I know that if you look through your neighbor's mailbox, that's technically against the law. And I'm not saying that from experience. Every time I've sifted through my neighbor's mail, it was always with consent. I'm not a mail rapist. But here, apparently, this guy got away with it. He got away with it. And if you are in New Jersey and didn't receive your mail, you should know why. And our last story is straight out of Florida. I want to say northern Florida. As a matter of fact, Port Orange, where an 81-year-old man attempted to buy an 8-year-old girl from her mother for $200,000. The man was arrested and charged with simple battery and false imprisonment. Apparently, the guy approached her in a friendly manner, and he started bidding on this woman's daughter. The first amount was $100,000. The second was $150,000. And then the final was $200,000. She then said, nope, I have to go. Would there have been a number that she would have been like, okay, yeah, that's fine? And how would the money have been paid? That's another question here that I'm interested about. So allegedly, there's nothing else that came up of this. He got indicted and that's it. There isn't anything else. I really wanted to find out more. Why did he want her? Did he want her as a daughter? Did he want her as some sort of odd concubine? I mean, the guy looks disgusting, but he's 81. I have so many fucking questions that this news report is not answering. But apparently, the exchange was caught on surveillance camera and he was identified through a credit card transaction. And another woman described a similar experience. So this guy's trying to go around buying little girls. You know, I feel like if he's shopping at Walmart, he wouldn't necessarily have that sort of money. And again, nobody is asking the main question here, which is what the fuck is he planning to do with them? Well, anyways, guys, that's the news. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys stuck around. Again, if you guys know some sort of service that I could use to upload these audio files so you can listen to it while you do whatever it is that you do, you should let me know in the comments below. And subscribe if you haven't already. That's something that usually lets me know, hey, you're doing something right, piggy. Well, I'm going to go figure out different ways to use Suzanne's Rice, Republican son, to allegedly assault a pro-Kavanaugh event.
When I see you again, 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 when I see you again.